Greetings everyone, welcome aboard. My name is Joseph James. Welcome to your live from recap. It's December 7th, 2010. A big happy birthday to our sales manager, Perry McGinnis. He turned in, boy, what are you, big 18 today? I'm kidding with you, Perry. But happy birthday to you, bud. December 7th, 2010. Happy birthday to our sales manager. It's also Pearl Harbor Day, so happy Pearl Harbor Day to you guys. Of course, here in the U.S., Pearl Harbor Day is a kind of a sentimental day for a lot of us. If you've been affected by Pearl Harbor or the events around Pearl Harbor, obviously, and of course, wish you guys the best on today, December 7th. So here's our live stream recap. We've got only a couple more days left of good price action here at the end of the year, and what do you know? Today was the biggest day of our trading all year. Biggest day of the year today, guys, December 7th. Now, I heard a while ago, someone told me a little while ago, a couple months ago, that the end of the year was the best time to be a trader. Did you hear that too? Right? Absolutely. Well, we know the end of the year is the best time to be trading, and it sure is living up to its living up to its expectations. So the biggest day of the year today in the room, over 320 ticks. Before we talk about the results we had today, though, I want to remind you guys a couple things here. We're going to be posting our Auto Trader review every day now. You'll see a link for the Auto Trader review right below this video. Right, so right below this video right now, click on that link that says take me to the automated trading system review, and you'll see the Auto Trader review for today's trades. Now, guys, keep the questions coming for the Auto Trader. We love your feedback. Very exciting stuff, and we get a special members-only training on the new Auto Trader tomorrow morning on Wednesday. Also, don't forget, Friday mornings are beginners training. This Friday morning, right? Not for beginners only, but we're going to be focusing on beginner-type questions. So whether you're an advanced member, whether you're a beginner member, whether you're a new trader, you're an experienced trader, guys, Friday mornings, we open up the floor to all the beginners trading, right? Pretty much any question you guys have is open field on Friday mornings. So plan your Friday morning this Friday and come in and join us at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Now, we'll be here on Friday morning from 7:45, right? We'll be trading live from 7:45. But then, as you guys know, on Friday mornings, things start to slow down a little bit earlier, so we do our beginners training on Friday mornings. All right, guys? Don't forget, the blog has a search function. Use that search box on the blog. You can search for any specific topic you want. We've got live support on the blog. Get your YouTube page, too. Have you been to our YouTube page yet? Our YouTube page has probably the most day trading videos on the internet. So while you're here, guys, check out the YouTube page and leave a comment for me on the YouTube page, right? Let me know how you guys like it. All right? That's our blog. Get to know the blog. Lots of important free information on the blog, guys. Use that search box. Use the headers overhead, guys. And, of course, check out that YouTube page. All right, let's see what we did here today. Biggest day of the year, right? 3820, 382 ticks. 2, 4, what's that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 total trades. As you guys know, best time of the year right now. Now, we had the biggest day of the year in October. We made 34,000 in October. Then we broke that record in November with 44,000 in November, had the biggest day of November 16th, and then here we are now on December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, and we've got our biggest day of the year once again. We keep smashing these records every single month, and guys, like I said, the end of the year, I'm expecting this to happen at the end of the year, right, and it sure is living up to its expectations. So 382 ticks, 3820, biggest day of the year, biggest day in our trade room. And of course, we are just wrapping up here the price action we want to see before next week, right? And next week, you're going to start finding the holiday season is going to start bleeding into, right, our trading results, right? So next week, expect a much different kind of look and feel of the markets the last 3 weeks of the year. Things are going to start getting a little bit slower. So this week, we've got to make sure we make our money this week. 382, that brings our weekly total to 4640. Monthly total now, almost 9,000, and yearly total just shy of $238,000, guys. Only 4 contracts. This is not a large account. What's the most important that happened today, right? What happened today? Well, again, this is the last full week of the best price action, so we're trying to make the best of it. We had the biggest day of the year today. The dollar was flat most of the morning, then jumped to the highs, and we sold short at 10 o'clock. We'll show you guys more about that in a moment. But the dollar was flat most of the early morning. Then the dollar began to jump to the top of the wedge pattern. When the dollar jumped up, right, we were waiting for it to sell the highs on gold, sell the highs on crude. You also had a chance to sell the highs on the Russell. We talked about that today in the room, right? So we sold the highs, right, when that dollar was rising, right? Negative correlation. We read the tape today. This was a really good exercise. The first trade of the day today on crude oil, we were expecting to sell the highs, but we read the tape and decided to buy the highs and then sell the highs. So it's actually a great example on crude. We'll look at that right away this morning so you can see what it looked like to read the tape on the crude oil. And of course, guys, our morning prep really did all this work for us. If you look at my results this morning, right, the first 4 trades earned us over 100 ticks. And the first 4 trades were anticipated based upon our morning prep. We knew to be buying pullbacks. We knew to be selling the highs, right? We knew exactly what to be doing. All we needed was the market to come to us. So we set up our morning routine, 7:45. We go through the morning prep. We look at our slower time frames, our faster time frames. We check the dollar, we check the gold, we check the Russell, we check the euro. We look at all the markets, and we put together a plan of attack. Well, that plan of attack today told us exactly what to do in the first hour, and we earned over 100 ticks in the first hour, really just because we followed the plan of attack. All right, we'll come and show you guys that in a moment. Let's start first, though, this morning with my dollar. Now, again, my dollar this morning, the dollar leads the way, right? The dollar tells me exactly what to expect the rest of the morning. Now, here's my channel, right? So we'd already found we're now below, right? We had broken below that price channel. So here we are, we're below that price channel. Now, what do you call that, though? What is that? That's called a wedge, right? This little price pattern here, that's called a wedge. And so naturally now, we're going to avoid the middle, right? Sell the highs, buy the lows. Well, what happened is the dollar went sideways and then, boom, broke the wedge and launched back up into this bearish channel. Okay, so here we are. We find ourselves in a wedge pattern, right? The wedge pattern, of course, like I said before, the wedge pattern right there, the dollar was going sideways this morning, right? That was where we had to wait a little bit today. And then at 9:30, it broke the resistance, then continued back to the upside. So at 9:30, if you look back at our results, guys, at 9:30, things get really, really good, right? Before 9:30, we took 2 stops, right? Had a couple scratch trades. After 9:30, everything was tumbling. Now follow me down here. Here was the ATR this morning. Now what do you notice in the ATR? Remember, how do we use average to range? Comparison tool, absolutely right. So I compare where I am before to where I am now. And what do we see? Well, first of all, I notice right away, we're at the lowest point we've been in weeks, right? That low right there, that's the lowest point we had been in weeks. We looked back in time and we saw this was the lowest ATR reading we'd seen in weeks. So right away, that tells me we may have to wait a little bit this morning because the average to range on the dollar, right? The dollar leads everything else. If the dollar's narrow and slow, how are we expecting everything else to be moving, right? So this is where we start. The dollar tells me right here, right? Be careful. We're coming off the worst price action of the week. We then jump up, and you can see here at about 5 a.m., we actually get some decent moves here. But then we come right back down. So if you're going to ask me, right, what does this tell me right now? This tells me, right, that we are off the highs. We're not at the best part of the day. We're off the lows, which means we had the worst price action in weeks. So what would you think, right? The dollar tells me I've seen the worst price action in weeks earlier on this morning. Then we did rise a little bit, but we're right back down where we were before. This tells me we may not see anything today, right? Because we've got a very narrow, right, very narrow price action. What ended up happening was the dollar did end up coming back up here, right? It did end up coming all the way back up here, actually all the way to the top of this range. So the ATR did end up rising today. But this morning, though, it told us be very careful, right? We use it as a comparison tool. Where was I in the past, and how does this apply, right? How does this compare to where it was in the past? So we knew on the dollar we had a wedge pattern, right? Tight, narrow trading ranges. ATR is low. The speed was also very slow. So what does that tell me this morning?